I would say that strategically integrating ESG into their daily operation or into their business, better to say that. Say it is not just true for in Indian corporates, it is across the globes. Even if you conduct a business or involved in a business with an overseas company,
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to FaceTime with Leaders, the podcast by Directors Institute World Council of Directors. I'm your host, Tanay All, and today we have with us someone whose journey truly bridges science, leadership, and governance in a way few can claim. Joining us is Dr. Sunil Kumar Mandal, a name that resonates across pharmaceutical and agrochemical industries, both in India and abroad. He's not only led innovation from early stage research through clinical and field trials, but has also championed ESG integration, safety culture, and strategic transformation within large R&D setups.
thank you, Tanay, for that generous introduction. I am absolutely delighted to be here today, and I cannot really wait to dive into this conversation.
Absolutely, sir. Likewise. What's especially fascinating about your journey is how seamlessly you've moved between research, operations, global collaboration, and now boardroom readiness. There's a depth and clarity to your work that makes today's discussion particularly exciting.
That really means a lot to me. My journey was evolving in nature, and each and every phase taught me that how I should approach the challenges and decision making. So today, I would love to share some of my reflections.
Absolutely, sir. So I think we can begin. There's a lot to uncover, and I'm sure our audience will walk away inspired and informed. So, sir, before we dive into the details, in your own words, could you please tell us about your journey, how it all started, the turns it took along the way, and what brought you to where you are today?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So I can still vividly remember that's a during my PhD, my PhD supervisor, in the very first day during my interaction, he installed the sense of confidence on me. Instead of giving a set of problems and then implement in the research lab, he asked me to find the research problem. So that was the ownership, that was installed in me. So that was a defining moment at that point of time. And then after that, I moved to a postdoctoral stint in USA. But that was a great journey because of cultural differences, because I lived in quite a few places in USA. And wherever you go, you will find at least people from 10 different countries, and all of them are having completely different culture, way they face the problem, way they approach the solution. So it's all an amazing experience. Then after coming back from USA, again, my tenure, it was a short tenure at Jubilant, but that was also an important one because I assembled a dynamic team over there to deliver highly demanding deliveries for the client. And there, what I learned, say this collaboration and innovation is not just buzzwords. It is the ingredient for success. So after that short instinct, I moved to Shenzhen and worked for almost a decade at the center of Biocon Bristol Myers Squibb Research Center, in short, that is called BBRC. And there I dove into world of drug discovery and medicinal chemistry. So in addition to collaboration and innovation, so I understood that what is the importance of diverse perspective means. When you really wanted to deliver unmet medical need to our patients, so this perspective is very, very important. And that led us to deliver a lot of advanced clinical candidates, with the aim to help patients to prevail over serious diseases. So after almost a decade, I ventured into crop protection research at PI Industries. So again, it was a daunting task, but more than challenges, I see as an opportunities, because India is an agricultural based country. So if you can help farmers in delivering a environment friendly crop protection agent, so that they can achieve sustainable farming and produce more crops, and that is indirectly related to that United Nations Sustainable Development Goals to remove the hunger from the world. So then after almost 5.5 years, again I moved to another branch of PI, which is called PI Health Sciences. So there I pursue totally in terms of business, there's contract research and contract development and research to help international pharma clients to deliver the medicine in a speedy manner to the patient. So here my leadership abilities further evolved, and I learned that say it is not only just to lead an R&D team, but create an environment where people can really thrive innovation. So that was very, very important. So throughout this journey, so I anchored collaboration, innovation, continuous learning in terms of leadership and also the scientific matters. So I hope that I will be able to inspire others, particularly the young generations, from my experience, and help them to achieve their passion and their professional goals.
Absolutely, sir. I think very well said that when you started out and your professor asked you to find a problem, that probably set out a benchmark for you to always go looking out to things that can be made better. So, what stands out is the unique blend in your journey, combining the scientific depth from institutions like Scripps and a Harvard executive program with the real world complexity of leading a 180 member team in India. How have these early global experiences influenced the way you now lead teams, approach problem solving, and foster innovation, particularly in environments where precision must coexist with empathy?
Yeah. So as I was mentioning, that international exposure was particularly very important to understand that cultural aspect. No? So initially I pursued a couple of years of postdoc at Louisiana State University, then moved to University of Utah at Salt Lake City, and then the Scripps Research Institute. So all over the places, I not only met the great scientists, but understood that to say in a fast-paced environment, how to lead the science in collaboration with a culturally diverse team. So particularly, I would like to tell that my experience at Scripps, that institute is known for nurturing Nobel laureates. So working besides those great scientists, that environment itself is triggering your mind always that it is the innovation, you need to drive. So that helps me to think in a completely different way. So then we see that in a team environment, when there are multicultural people are present, it is very important to establish the open communication channel, and sometimes even to take ideas from person who is at lower level. Means it is not like that only the people at higher level will come up with good ideas. So in many cases it happens that actual discovery comes from that lower level people. So those are the things I have learned, and that's how I lead my team today also. And after that, I would like to mention a little bit about my executive management course at Harvard Business School. So there I elevated my leadership abilities. So during that course, I met with a lot of great leaders across the world, and have gone through multiple Harvard business cases. While going through those business cases, I have observed that failure is part of the journey. It is not like that people need to get demotivated out of that. No? So how to convert that learning from failures into the success? No? So there are a lot of cases they have presented, how great leaders learn from those failures and ultimately innovate something which they are in the world today, and they have changed something transformationally. So this overall, this international culture, not only from Scripps, Harvard, and there are few other places, So I found that this cultural aspect is so important, in order to collaborate, innovate, and succeed, particularly with respect to sustainability and research. It is very much to align, not only just that higher level, your superiors, but at lower level people also.
Yes, so very well said. That ideas can come from anybody, and just that thought of accepting it from anybody is a big thing.
Yeah.
So, one defining moment in your journey has been the successful in house discovery of PI's proprietary crop protection candidates, a rare feat in a field where breakthroughs are typically acquired or licensed. Given that the molecule has received an ISO name and is now in advanced development, this marks a milestone for Indian agri science. Could you take us back to the pivotal moment? What, in your view, was the true breakthrough that made it possible?
So actually, that was one of my say defining moment, of course. But the reason I moved from drug discovery from the Syngene, Bristol Myers Squibb to PI Industries, I found that say PI Industries is the only Indian company who is investing so much for discovering new crop protection agent. There was no other Indian company who wanted to do that. So that was one of the driving force I moved to PI Industries, because said I have the ability to innovate, because more than 10 years of in drug discovery and medicinal chemistry. So that seed is already there. So then I thought, why not contributing to that our farmers, means who are producing on daily basis in the field and trying to meet the hunger of the world. So that drives me, and then I made I would say that's a team of research scientists, team leaders over there. Those are also experienced from international places. So that was also one of the advantage, and I applied my previous learnings over there in terms of innovation, diverse perspective, how to lead the innovation. It is not only just a huge number of team 180 people, but bringing all of them is together and merging the individual goals to the project goals or organization's goal. That is very crucial. So one of the things I learned over there, it is very important not only to do the scientific research, but to integrate that in the operational excellence also. There are a lot of enable functions. Without that, you cannot do the research also. So that was one of the good learning over there. And as I mentioned earlier, so because of this company's vision, reimagining a healthier planet by discovering a new crop protection agent and delivering that to farmers, that vision has inspired me. And that was the key things which drove me throughout, almost 5 years. We have identified a molecule which is in that advanced development at this point of time, and hopefully in a couple of years or so, because there are a lot of regulatory approvals and other things are required, so it will be marketed, and that will be the India's first homegrown insecticide in terms of crop protection agent. So it will be a very proud moment, not only for me as a leader, but it will be the proud moment for the team as a whole and as a whole for the company.
Yeah, I'm sure, sir. I think it's a very big achievement, and for the entire team, I think it would be a pleasure when it actually happens, because it's like you said, years of effort that after which something comes through. So, one thing that really stood out to me in your journey, and I think many audience members will find this equally meaningful, is how you've consistently championed practices like green lab culture, safety protocols, and even the 5S system at places like Syngene and Bristol Myers Squibb. These aren't just technical checkboxes, they reflect a mindset, a way of working. So I'm curious, how did implementing these initiatives shape the overall culture of your teams?
Yeah, so that is again another Good questions. For me, particularly in my leadership journey, research journey. So I would like to thank the organization, particularly Bristol Myers Squibb, who gave me that opportunity to drive all those initiatives. So although few ideas came from me, my team members, but without leadership support, top management support, so integrating few things in the organization culture, it is very difficult. So in terms of, say, when you talk about green lab culture, that's a climate change, global warming. These are all the hot discussion topic everywhere where you go. So contributing a little bit in the laboratory also a huge things, because say small drop of water is ultimately made of the ocean, right? So in that lab, when I initiated this, there are some resistance I have received from some people, which is very obvious. Say, in a member of, say, 20 people, say, there may be, say, 5 people who will take in the front and drive it, no, because of their proactive nature and passion. But there will be always few people, they wanted to hesitate whether it will be successful or not. So my job was to bring everybody on the track, no, while encouraging who are on the front. So what we did, so we instituted a rewarding system that who will adapt to this culture, and then so that they can encourage other team members. So that's what it has happened. Say last couple of months, we have seen that not all team members are fully aligned. But after that 3-4 months, they realize that what is the benefit of that. So particularly, I just wanted to mention that one of the team member who was actually lagging behind in terms of this drive kind of innovate and then how to recycle the water, no, of his own. And then of course then other people gave some input, then ultimately that implemented into the laboratory practice. So these are the few example I would say in terms of green lab culture: energy efficiency, water conservation, reduction of waste, because in a chemical laboratory, because of hazardous nature of solvent, chemical, lot of hazardous waste are generated. How to reduce those? So because lesser the waste, greater it for the environment, right? Then if I talk about safety culture, this is one of the cultural element, means many organization suffers, because say from the very beginning there was no proper education. People try to violate safety rules, all those things, so changing the culture, it is not that easy. But we have devised a mechanism, that how our safety cultural ladder should be for the organization. We are not telling that from tomorrow things will be drastically changed, because this cultural change takes a lot of time. Each and every step jump take minimum of 3 years if everybody get involved seriously. So doing that, we have found that say people realize that safety is not just say they are doing some favor to others, it is for their own benefit also, right? Say today if we do not work safely in the lab, and if we get injured and then return to the family members, so what will be the situation? So one of the statement I used to tell my team member, that you come in the morning the way as a healthy person, you go back to your family in the same way as a healthy person without any injury. So that's what you should be working on a daily basis. Then moving to that 5S, that organizational philosophy, that Toyota invented that 5S philosophy first for their manufacturing things, but it is applicable across all the organization. It is not just a few housekeeping things, there are say removing unwanted item from the workplace, and then organizing that wanted items within the organization place in a systematic manner, so that whenever you want something, you get that immediately without wasting your time. So, and then of course we need to systemize this and then optimize ultimately. So there are 5 steps. So here also safety is somehow integrated. So by doing so, people also realize that it is increasing the efficiency of the workplace, reducing cost of some operation, and then ultimately they are able to deliver in a speedy manner. So overall, I wanted to tell that this kind of green lab drive, safety culture drive, 5S integration into the operation, it is just the major ingredients to enable the research. It is not just the simple checkbox. That's you do few things, some of the regulatory things you must do, which is minimum requirement, but it is beyond that. So these are all enabler of great research. So that's what I wanted to mention this.
Bruce, I think the perspective you look at it from is very refreshing. That without these, research won't happen safely, and hence
Yeah.
it's so important, not an individual, like you said, checkbox. Sir, with everything you've achieved, I have to ask that as you look ahead, what's still calling you? Like whether it's steering larger innovation ecosystems or stepping more deeply into boardroom responsibilities, what does the next chapter look like for you, and what continues to fuel your ambition today?
Well, that's what I would mention that what is my vision is, ultimately my vision is to help the business so that not only from that financial prospect, but there are three elements. It is called three bottom lines. So people, profit, and planet. No, profit means if you consider my grandfather's time or to some extent to my father's time, business means people used to tell all about profit, but those days are gone. So of course business means profit. You have to earn money, to invest further, create new things, innovate further, deliver new things, but it should be without compromise of your people. That means in greater sense, I would like to tell it is community, means equitable growth. It is not just the growth of the company financially. You have to think about your community and society's growth in an equitable manner. And also, we should not compromise the health of the planet. No matter whatever we do, everything involved, say, use of certain natural resources. It may be energy, it may be water, and many other things. So one thing I always dedicate, that whatever I do, it should keep some mark so that next generation people can enjoy that natural resources also, rather than consume everything in this generation. So that is in terms called the sustainability. No? So I think that when we talk about these things, that people, profit, planet, and with this vast experience of mine of around 25 years, my next chapter will be, of course, that boardroom entry, which I believe that one of the platform where I can not only share my experience over there, but also inspire, train others, particularly the young generation who will be leading after that, So that's how I think that's it is the experience, knowledge, and continuous learning. Whatever I have achieved in last 25 years, it is, say, in my next chapter, it is time to give that to the next generation so that they can also aspire to fulfill their passion and fulfill their career goals.
True, sir. I think that's a wonderful thought. So, one thing I really appreciate in your work is how ESG for you hasn't been about compliance or ticking boxes like we were discussing. You've actually built ESG strategy into the DNA of R&D operations. So, for leaders and teams who are still treating ESG like a report rather than a mindset, what's your take? What's your honest advice for embedding it in a way that actually shapes decisions, not just text?
Yeah, you have rightly said that's many companies, so they think this isn't regulatory requirement, a certain requirement we need to fulfill, we need to put the check box, but ESG is not like that. No, so environmental, social, and governance, in one way, it is quite similar as what I was telling, that people, profit, and planet. No, so that governance part is closely related to profit, then people part is related to that social, and then planet part is related to the environment. So no business can sustain these days without carefully integrating, I would say that strategically integrating ESG into their daily operation or into their business, better to say that. No, say uh, it is not just true for in Indian corporates, it is across the globes. Even if you conduct a business or involve in a business with an overseas company, these ESG things are the first things they look at it. Of course, there will be some kind of, say, data, regulatory requirement, some kind of scoring, all those things will be there. But they wanted to see that how well you have integrated this into your organizational culture so that people at the ground level, at the shop floor, those who are implementing those strategies, so they know actually what is expected from them. It is not just say from the top management, they put something in big words, there are some SOPs, there are some guidelines, we are doing ESGs, all those things. It is not like that. So of course this should be there, but percolating that down the line and then reaching up to the frontline employees with the right manner so that they understand that delivery is one thing, but without compromising the ESG part, without compromising the environmental part, social part, or governance part. So this strategy, that way today company looked at it, I am telling that there are some seriousness, although ESG terminology is known from quite a long time back, but people started looking at it much more seriously. Maybe one of the reason is that strict regulation, but at some point we have to think that regulation will be there, of course, because environment wise, climate wise, we are kind of at a stage where if we do not control now, then next generation or next to next generation will not be able to survive that way we are surviving today. Okay, so but beyond the regulatory requirement, it is required that say in our organization we implement this ESG, and in order to equip me with further knowledge, I have pursued that CPD accredited ESG certification from Director Institute. So that gives me huge perspective. So it is not only just chemical industries, it is applicable to everywhere, every industries, means starting from mining to whatever it is, So that's what one of the things that my vision is integrated with sustainability, and ESG is nothing. Means it is sustainability only, means different parts are talked in a different way. So that's how I kind of what I would say that this ESG should be the fabric in the fabric of the organization, no, so that it cannot goes out, means no matter whatever it is. So my passion, my vision is integrated with sustainability and ESG, and on my daily basis, whatever I do in terms of R&D here, I put that into place and always see that it is taken seriously by all the employees across the levels and driven in such a way that we can sustain our business.
Very well said, sir. So before we close, I'd love to hear about something a little more recent. You recently joined Directors Institute, and given your vast experience across science, leadership, and governance, I'm curious, how has this journey been for you so far?
Means Director Institute, I would say that say a couple of years ago, means I was looking for something to get more exposure about these boardroom attributes, who can teach, because say even though say we know few things, we learn from seniors, board members, from our daily interaction, but as a professional learning that how boardroom should function and what are the say corporate act laws people need to be aware about out in order to function efficiently in the boardroom. So that's what I found out. That's a Director Institute, one of the great institution. No, so they have started this course for these aspiring people like me, no, so that they can dream about, no, in their say next phase, no, next chapter of their career or whatever you say, no, and then function very efficiently in the boardroom. So that way I would say that during that coursework, not only that coursework modules were well organized, covering all the topics in terms of various modules, but most interesting and the learning part was that say interacting with the people, those who have served in the boardroom previously, no, for decades, and sharing that live examples, no, that how boardroom function actually, no. So they have kind of projected that several real example, not only say in India, outside India also. So those are very much I would say that strong learning which I embedded inside me. So about that director's course. Apart from that, I pursued that ESG course also, followed by that. And as I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, no, means ESG is kind of I breathe in, breathe out. No, means whatever I do in my next chapter, no, means whether it is boardroom or a similar advisory role, it will be always be there in my mind as a part of my sustainable journey.
Thank you so much, sir, for those insightful thoughts and kind comments. This has been a rich and insightful conversation. From global research to boardroom readiness, your journey has touched so many dimensions, and I know our audience will walk away with more than a few takeaways today. So, thank you so much for sharing your time, your reflections, and your vision with us, sir.
Thank you for arranging this. I'm really grateful to dive this conversation, and I hope that audience, particularly young generation, will be able to extract some kind of values from this conversation.
To our audience, thank you for tuning in to another episode of FaceTime with Leaders with Directors Institute. If today's conversation with Dr. Mandal left you inspired, do share, subscribe, and stay with us as we continue to bring you stories who shape the future of leadership and governance. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, keep leading forward, and as always, have fun in your journey. Thank you so much.